So, Friday, squatting again, barbell day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, barbell day. So squatting every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Last time was 115, which I got for 3 sets of 5. This is 117 and a half, predictably, which I hope to get for 3 sets of 5. Definitely getting to the point whereby this is becoming extremely difficult for me. Several issues coming up. Firstly, the belt is now becoming increasingly tight on notch 5, and notch 5 is the line on the sand for me. It's not going to go beyond that. I mean, you can eat your way through, but I'm not willing to do that. This is as regards my waist size, this is it. This is the maximum that I'm ever going to go to. So that rules out simply eating my way through, which does work. Just general fatigue. I don't feel bad today though. I mean, I think that what last few days I've had some sort of a bug, and I could feel it. I got it on my chest. It was making me sort of like my breathing was getting raspy. Like that. Yeah, you can hear it clicking inside your lungs. But that's gone yesterday. I had a bit of diarrhea. That's cleared up a lot. I don't know. Just upset stomach. So diarrhea being sort of like a symptom of it, I think. Upset stomach also cleared up a lot. And I think one of the reasons being is that I've started now to think about controlling the calorific intake. So I'm slowing the eating down, and that helps no end. That helps your stomach out. I think that there's no way to eat excessively and not get issues with your stomach, regardless of what you eat. But I'm hoping that I've got that back under control. As I said repeatedly, if you want to lift big, you've got to eat big. There's no magic here. It's all a material process. Energy in through the food, energy out through the bar. But as long as you're getting a good protein intake and you've got some fluff on your belly, you don't want to. You're not going to. How can I put it? The chiseled six pack is not a sign of strength. Yeah, I appreciate it as a good outcome. I as much as anybody, I like to see a good looking physique, but it's not strong. Yeah, you're at a weak head when you're down to the abs. So it's a case of picking your battle. If you want to be aesthetic, go one way. If you want to be strong, go another way. To a certain extent, you can blend them, but that's it's like it's just simply a slower path. I think you're better off pursuing one at a time. So, at some point in time, when you are at a relatively low ebb, strength-wise and body fat-wise, it's probably a good idea to pursue this more powerlifting type training. Once you've built a bit of strength and you're back up to fluffy, then pursue a bit of aesthetics training. Completely up to the individual, though. I think age has got to do with it as well. Once you get to a certain age, you've got to be thinking about your body composition. You don't want to be getting massively overweight. It's unhealthy. And obviously, the older you are, the less able you are. Well, the higher the probabilities that the negative factors like overweight are going to do you some harm. So think about it. Anyway, let's get on with it. So I've warmed up, 117.5 kilos on the bar. So hopefully a set of 5. I've got no idea if today is going to be the day when the straw that breaks the camel's back. Let's say, not literally, but when it gets all too much. and I don't hit the reps. But next week for sure, there's going to be I'm going to slow down the progress by putting a light day on Wednesday. Oh, and also this is a major change that I'm going to make. I'm completely dissatisfied with my pressing. You know, my overhead press. I think, you know, when I'm pressing, I'm finding when the weight goes up there, you know, it's making me lean back more and more and more. Now, when the weight is light, it's not an issue, but when I'm getting into these heavier weights, you know, my form is terrible. So what I'm thinking of doing is, because I'm doing kettlebell clean and press, kettlebells, yeah? Because I'm doing the kettlebell clean and press, I think that is going to cover my overhead work with fairly light weight, but lots of sets. So rather than doing press on the barbell, I'm going to sub in close grip bench press. So I'm going to do a lot more bench pressing. You know, and I'm thinking that it's probably a good idea, because I'm getting a hell of a lot of pressing in at this moment in time. I'm doing pressing on the barbell, and I'm doing pressing with the kettlebell. That's a lot of pressing. Yeah, and I think it might be too much. It's bugging my shoulders, getting sore, so the mobility is reducing, I'm leaning back more and more. So what I'm thinking is, use the kettlebells for overhead pressing, and use the barbell for bench pressing. So, yeah, that's quite a significant change, I suppose. But at this moment in time, I'm only doing bench press every other workout, so that's, you know, a frequency of 1.5 times per week, which is low frequency for bench press. So if I do some form of bench press every workout, that'll be 3 times a week. See how that goes. But one of them will be proper, well, normal bench press. The other will be narrow grip bench press, which is lighter. Okay, let's see how it goes. As always. Okay, let's have a 5-second timer. That's going to take about 20 seconds to run down now. I want 5 reps if possible. Put a bit of choke on. I like to have a dry grip. Okay, let's do it. Well, that first one's always evil. But okay, 5. For the first set is also victory, because it's 5 reps with a new weight. So whatever happens, at least you're getting 5 with a new weight. Okay, let us proceed. Yeah, I was talking about the press. I would say that in some ways, subbing close grip bench press for military press is going to make it a little bit harder, in fact, because you are capable of a heavier load on the close grip bench press than the military press. So it's a harder move. So it's definitely not making it easier. But yeah, I just feel this sort of like soreness in the shoulders. I think, you know, I'm pushing it a bit too much on the shoulder work. Barbells and kettlebells combined. So I was going to give them a break. Still doing the kettlebells. Hopefully at some point in time I can find at a reasonable price another 20 kilo kettlebell, so I can go up, you know, use a pair of 20s rather than a pair of 16s. Yeah, that'll make it more of a strength movement. But anyway, that's my decision made. Okay, so back to the squatting. So yeah, that set was hard, for sure. But what do you expect? It's always hard, you know. It's a groundbreaker every time. They're always hard, so it's what you expect. It's not unexpected. And everything about this process is relatively predictable. Like, you know, you're gonna, you know, as you eat into it, you know, because that's what I'm doing. I'm eating into the heavier weights. You know that eventually that's going to result in fat gain. So, you know, I'm very well aware of it, and I've already planned ahead that I am not going to go beyond where I am now as regards the waist size. Oh, that doesn't mean that I can't put on more weight. Yeah, you know, that's perfectly possible. As I understand it, as long as you're carrying, you know, quite a bit of body fat, your body does not require a massive amount of calories to build the muscle. It just requires the protein. So you can go relatively low calorie and still, you know, to a certain extent build muscle. You know, it's not as good as going high calorie, but to a certain extent, as long as you've got a relatively high percentage of body fat. Now, as soon as you get lean, then it doesn't work. You have to eat in a surplus. I'm not being weighed in a while. I'm guessing I'm around about 200 pounds. But I'm gonna have to get weighed. Now I've got to the limit. Anyway, 5. Five. Okay. Do. One more to go. So, whatever happens, Monday, I'm going to put 120 on the bar. That'll be the peak of this this phase. So this phase is simply squat 3 times a week, 3 sets of 5, add 2.5 kilos every time. Okay. So I'm taking it to 120. And I was, you know, one of the reasons that I'm making the switch over as well is because I've actually listened to the listen to people who program, and they reckon that this process runs up to about, well, in American it's £250. So what's 120 kilos? 100 is 220 and 20 is 44, so I'm going to 264. So I'm beating the 250, let's say. So it's on, I don't know, obviously these are just general average ballpark figures, you know, they're not carved in stone. But they reckon that this phase, you should be able to get 250 pounds out of it on average. So I'm going to say, okay, I've done that, I've beaten that, I'm ahead of that number. There's no loss. You know, it's not like you lose something by changing the program. It simply means that the progress is going to slow down, but the progress remains. So Monday will be 120, and then Wednesday it's simply 80% of that, so 96 kilos, isn't it? Probably put 95 on. So Wednesday 95 kilos, and then Friday it should be 122 and a half. So the advance is going to keep coming, all being well. But if you know what's happening is you're getting the 2 days off for the weekend, and then you're doing a heavy day, and then you're getting 3 days whereby you're only doing a relatively light squat in the middle, and then you're doing a heavy day. So the recovery is emphasised. Okay, but first of all I've got to get this one, haven't I, obviously. Okay, I'm feeling the heat as well, it's a hot day. Oh, yeah, it definitely is. You know, I'm hearing about heat wave in September, possibly. Mind you, the weather's big news these days, isn't it? They tell you all sorts, and what materialises might not be the same as what they tell you. I'm not a climate change denier. I believe it's real, but yeah, our understanding of it is not 100% accurate, let's say. Okay, I want another set of 5. Then I've done it. 117 and a half crossed off. Come on. I'm going to smooth this belt a bit. That's better. Come on then, 5 reps. Last one. Done it. 3 sets of 5, 117 and a half. Good stuff. So, 2 days off now. Hopefully, well, I said 2 days off. 2 days off barbell work. 2 days off squatting. Oh, gee. So tomorrow, Saturday, I will do some swings. That's it. So it's a relatively gentle day. It's not easy, but relatively so. Relatively gentle on Saturday. I'm thinking, well, the plan is 16 sets of 4 with 60 kilos. That's Saturday. So it's not intense lifting. It's more skewed towards endurance. Sandy completely off. Maybe a jog, a very limited jog, possibly like a mile to the supermarket. That's one that I do. Very limited, just to get the blood moving a little bit, just to wake up. Okay, that's a good session today again. Another good session, 3 sets of 5. Okay, so what comes next when I turn the film off, turn the video off, is I'm going to warm up for close grip bench press. So I'm not quite sure what I'm doing there. So bit of a restart on the close grip bench press. Okay, but that was the main event, the squat. Bye.